Everyone loves happy hour, and no one makes an hour happier than actress, comedian, author, host, and self-proclaimed hat girl, Dee Dee Sorvino, who each show serves up an hour of good times and great conversation. Food, culture, fashion, current events, history, or just good gossip. Grab a cocktail and take a seat as Dee Dee shares stories, talks with friends, and makes you wish you could keep the bar tab open all night. Where there's a party, there's Dee Dee, and you are invited. Sit back, relax, and enjoy Drinks with Dee Dee. Here's your host, Dee Dee Sorvino.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. All right, I know I'm not that great of a singer, but hey, welcome to Drinks with Dee Dee. If you didn't guess, we're talking about Disney today. Everybody's talking about Disney today, aren't they? My name is Dee Dee Sorvino, and I'm your host for the next hour. And we are at the bar. We have a virtual bar, and we have a blast every show, and we're glad that you have joined us. We're talking Disney, DeSantis, and Donald Duck. Hey, can't get can't get any more diverse than that and exciting as that. Whether you love or hate Disney or love or hate DeSantis or even Donald Duck, which I always like Donald Duck better than Mickey anyway. I don't know. I like the Ducks. It's going to be fun. So, okay, official drink of the show. Jameson whiskey, because it's always a happy time, like the happiest place on earth. Jameson whiskey makes you feel like you're in the happiest place on earth. I love it, and this is always my Irish drink. March 17th, you gotta go Jameson. And I just felt lucky today, so I thought I'm gonna pull back out the Irish whiskey. So anyway, let's bring in the other guests. Let's bring in the bar buddies, because I'm sure they're ready to rock and roll. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll high school. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll high school. All right, well, maybe not, but welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
MICKEYMOUSC. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. However, your banner high, 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 hey there, high, there, you're as welcome as can be. MICKEYMOUSC. Did you ever watch Mickey Mouse Club? Do you think I'm nuts? Am I that
I tried
old?
to avoid it.
Anybody else watch the Mickey Mouse Club?
I remember it.
Yeah, they even rebooted it with Timberlake and Britney.
Yep.
Yeah, Britney Spears. She started as a musketeer.
And Christina
I'm not a
Aguilera.
musketeer. I'm a musketeer.
Gosling.
And Ryan Gosling. DiCaprio didn't make the cut. Oh, wait, that was Romper Room. Never
I
mind.
think he made up for it, though. I think he was okay. I was just watching Wolf of Wall Street the other night, and I love that movie. I know it's a little rough, but I think it's a great movie. I thought it was great. I thought he should have, gotten an Academy Award for that. But then he did get one for The Revenant when a bear ripped him apart, and
I know, and then his son gets flicked, and then, he's dead. It's like, is that really your dad? I mean, you got none of his genetics?
No, that was like the Indian kid, right? He got busy with the Indian lady, right? And then he looked like an Indian, not Leonardo. Hey, that does happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it can happen.
If you married an Indian lady, they could totally not look anything like you because you look Kentuckian. Your wife's Indian. Well, she's not. But that happens all the time. I mean, look at Harry and Meghan. I mean, that kid looks nothing like Meghan Markle. It went all to Harry. So you never know where the kid's going to go.
Yeah, I'm no genetics expert, as all of you know.
Well, you have a low gene pool because you're a Kentuckian. All the Kentuckians come from a low gene pool. So do you have 10 fingers or 9? Just wondering. That's what I thought. All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Drinks with Dee Dee. We're talking Disney, DeSantis, and Donald Duck today.
Yes.
I love the alliteration.
Disney, DeSantis, and Donald Duck. So what do you want to be first?
I was just wondering if anybody could lend me some money.
Okay, that's exactly why I don't like Mickey Mouse. That bullshit. Do you ever see when The Rock and Jason Statham hate each other? And then and The Rock says to Statham, you know what I hate about you? It's your voice. It's your voice. That's Mickey's problem. See, I like Donald Duck. It's funny at least. Mickey Mouse has the worst voice. I don't like Mickey. I don't. No. But Donald Duck, that's pretty cool. Goofy, that's pretty cool. I like the other characters. Cinderella. Exactly. All right, everybody. So since it's a Mouseketeer roll call, let's say what are our drinks and who is our favorite Disney character. Let's be really hammy today. I'm having Jameson whiskey, and my favorite character is Donald Duck. Stephanie.
I am drinking an Italian white wine, and my favorite Disney character is Mufasa from The Lion King.
Okay, good. What do you think, Michael? Mickey
Woodford Reserve.
Mouse Club.
I guess my
character.
my favorite Disney character is Bill Cosby in Ghost Dad.
No, start again. That's stupid. That's just stupid. Yeah.
I know.
No, it's not a good, Okay, try again. You get one more try.
Aladdin.
Oh, okay, all right. Vanessa.
No, I'm gonna change it to the Fox Peter Pan, the animated Fox Peter or Robin
Peter Pan.
Hood.
You're kind
Robin
of Peter
Hood.
Pan. You're kind of like a Peter Pan type. You're never going to grow up, and I love that because neither am I. It's all good.
Yeah.
On Drinks and TV, we never, we always have one adult on the show, and it's Jennifer. Mimi almost is, not quite, but Jennifer for sure is total adult. The rest of us, no, we're Peter Pans. Vanessa, as a lovely Peter Panner, and congratulations, Vanessa just got Chef of the Year by probably every organization. So congratulations, Vanessa.
Thank you. Yeah, it was actually last year. I was surprised about it, but I just got the award. It was a ceremony and stuff like that.
They gave it to you a year late.
Congratulations.
Yeah, was that?
They gave it to you a year late.
Well, it was towards the end of a year. Like it was announced in December, so it just now happened. The million, because everybody is so busy all the time.
Pandemic, so. COVID, yeah, screwed up everything.
But
okay, what are you thinking, dear?
Yeah, that's right. I got to announce it twice, so that was actually kind of cool. So yes.
Hey.
Awesome.
And what do you think?
I'm drinking
character.
I'm at work. I just came back from a field trip with my students. I'm still wearing my chef jacket, so I'm having coffee.
Show us that chef jacket. Da 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 da. It's not Mickey Mouse Club.
It's just what's that?
Mickey Mouse Club. So I'm thinking you sing everything. It's just the way it is today. So anyway, what drink do you have? Nothing.
And my favorite character, one of them anyway, like recently, like Max, my 5-year-old, has been like all a fan of Lion King. So loving Simba, and I like Pumbaa, and of course Timon and all of that. Because it was like how everybody was so different, but they became really good friends. And it's just like, he loved it. That was his favorite part of our trip. We just had a Disney trip for a spring break. So it was the first time. So he was like all about the Lion King show, and it was awesome. It was great.
Kids do dig that Lion King, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They love it. Yeah, but it was like the first time actually seeing a play. I wasn't sure how he was gonna figure out because we went to see that play, and I wasn't sure how he was gonna like it because it wasn't animated. It wasn't like on the stuff, but he loved it. So he's like, when are we going to go next? So I'm gonna have to come up with some theater for kids.
New York. Gotta go to New York, right,
That's
Mimi?
Right. Go. That's right.
Mimi's right next door. She's like right by all the action in New York.
Yes.
We used to be until they like started boarding things up, and and they're like killing people and putting them in duffel bags, things like that. So we didn't really want to be there as much. I don't know. It's some pretty terrible things. So Mimi, we always want you to be safe.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm safe
You're
here.
tough. You're a tough girl.
Yes, of course.
So what is your favorite Disney character and your drink today?
I'm just drinking wedded wine.
Yay.
And
love red wine. That's always the favorite drink here overall.
And my favorite character is Goofy.
Yeah.
I've always liked Goofy. It's good-hearted, good-natured, happy-go-lucky, positive. And so that's kind of my thing. So I've always had an affinity to Goofy.
I love the Goofy movie.
Yes.
Great movie.
I love if you watched it. But you do have a kid, and my guess is you saw him on your own. But those animated shows are, those animated movies, but that's another thing. It's like you have the characters, but then those Disney movies, they get a lot of flack these days because people are saying they're putting sexual innuendos in. Now, I've not seen any, and that's pretty bad because I'm thinking I'm going to catch them all. But I just haven't. And I know the old school, like the Snow White and the Cinderella and all that. But the new ones, I mean, am I missing something? Have you all seen the sexual innuendos in these Disney movies?
I mean, they're not really putting it in there yet. But with the first big argument that started, I noticed it when I was reading Deadline, was that there was supposed to be a same-sex kiss in Lightyear. And Disney put the kibosh on that. No. Well, since all this happened, they allowed it back in. And it is, well, a lot of people have left Disney Plus. The park isn't doing as well as it was because of all this. But you will, I think, for a little while and longer, probably get a taste of it. I did a video where all right, here's how this started. I got the video of Reimagine Tomorrow. I got all the little segments. And one of the people in the video, her name is Latoya Radner. Just a second.
Okay.
So I think the answer is yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm betting
we
that
left
the
Stephanie
answer's yes.
kind of long-winded. You think she'd be the attorney on the show, but it's really Jennifer. So we're going to get to her, the adult.
She's
of the
very
program.
knowledgeable. So I'm waiting to see where this
goes. It's
goes.
our show, and it's a party show, so I don't have time for the whole hour of dissertation. But Jennifer, Stephanie's back, but Jennifer, I'm going to go to you, then back to Jennifer. Or I'm sorry, Stephanie. Hello. So Jennifer, you're the adult room, you're the attorney, and I wanted you to tell us your favorite Disney character and drink, and to explain what is going on there because you're an attorney about the change that DeSantis has said. Okay, if you're going to go there, I'm going to go here.
Well, I think my favorite is Minnie Mouse. I mean, there's lots and lots of different favorites, but if you go back to the beginning, I remember having a Minnie Mouse doll when I was a kid with her polka dots and her bow and her and
Very cute.
And I'm just drinking a screwdriver because it's warmer here in Indiana today. It's supposed to be like around 71. And so it's vodka and orange juice. So, but I missed until Dee Dee contacted me about today. I missed that DeSantis is now working towards, they have a special district that is there, and they do a lot of self-governing, and I'm sure pretty much all the property taxes are cut or go back or reinvested there. So if they take that away, I'm not sure it's a good thing for the government to have to take back on all the permitting and all the other work that they would have to do. That's something I'm not sure that
I don't think DeSantis cares.
I'm not
sure he didn't care. He's like, oh yeah, I'll take it all. I'll take it all, no problem. I've got people.
And he might be that mad, but that's what they're threatening is to. They've had this district for about a half a century.
Something Creek.
Huh?
Something Creek district.
Reedy Creek district.
Yeah, but it's basically a special district. There's different economic impact districts that different states do, and that's essentially what it is. It's got a fancy name for the area.
Reedy Creek.
But it's a district that allows them to have special zoning, special taxing, and all kinds of things, including apparently in their situation, they get to do their own permitting. So instead, every ride is going to have to go through the bureaucracy of the government to get approved. And there's a lot of other things that are going to have to be approved by the government instead of being self-approved within Disney.
They're basically like the Vatican. You know how the Vatican is its own country, basically. So they can do anything they want. And that was the deal that they made with Disney long, long ago. And I asked my friend Monica Samuels, who also has a podcast. What is it, Tony? Oh, God. She's going to kill me.
Inside the Moms Club.
What?
Inside the Moms Club.
Inside the Moms Club. I knew it was a mom's thing, but I'm not a mom. I never want any little fuckers ever. Okay, so I don't know mom lingo. I like to play with them and then give them back. And I don't even play with them weird. I'm like, hey, here's your sugar, and go away. but they're fun for a while. But she is a mom, and she does Inside the Moms Club. She's a friend of mine from forever and ever, and she has a great podcast. So check it out, because we always support everybody here. And Michael, I'll get you your stuff, but it's every freaking week, so it gets a little boring. But we'll get there.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh no, we'll get there. But Inside the Moms Club, so she, talks about all this mom stuff, which I think is a disaster. And one day she'll have me on, and I'm going to laugh at them all, going, "Ha ha! Look what you all did." I don't have any of that to do. Why would you ever want to do that? Vanessa's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so aghast at this because I love being a mom." Well, okay, well that's great. I'm glad you moms love it. Not for me, not for all of us. Mimi, you're not a mom. You're single, so some of us just don't go there.
I'm not a mom.
Anyway, you all, I recommend Inside the Moms Club, especially if you're a mom, 3:00 on Monday. So that's my pitch for my friend. But anyway, she's an attorney and she loves Disney. And she explained to me that basically they cut the deal of the century, saying that Disney can do anything environmentally, like legally, just all of it. It was basically it's a dictatorship. It's Putin. It's Putinville. So anyway, look, Stephanie, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about it, but that's it. So DeSantis and Disney right now, they're in a big war. And then they were calling it the gay bill, but I'm not understanding how it was that either. So I think that was sort of like just part of the campaign against DeSantis. And I'm not sure about all the details of that, but DeSantis is mad at Disney. Disney is mad at DeSantis. But I'll tell you this, I love DeSantis, but I love Disney. I'm going next month with my friend Monica, so I'm going. But whatever they're doing there, I hope they keep doing it. So do you all love Disney? Or is there anybody here who does not like Disney?
I'm a Warner Brothers cartoon fan, so I'm like, whatever.
But you don't like Disney?
I liked going when I was a kid. I liked some of their movies. I always thought it was a bit corny, even as a little kid. But crust up dressing
kids should have corny in their life. I think little kids should have corny in their life.
I do too.
That's a good thing.
I do too. My thing is I look at Disney as a venerable American brand. And since this has started, and I've basically got the 5 people causing all the trouble inside the company yapping about how they want to queer up everything.
Oh boy.
I've got it. If I will send it to you, Dee Dee, later.
Stephanie? That you went? I mean, is that a
well, if I had kids, I wouldn't let them go to see these, and that's the reason why. The bill that was passed does not have anything to do with that. It basically says, in a general way, you cannot teach sexuality, no matter what it is, to kindergarten through 3rd grade to little kids. Okay, not a problem. There were amendments that were never passed that dealt specifically with what these people are screaming about. And they basically were not allowed in. So there's nothing in there about that. This is the rap.
Okay, let's get to the party part, because I know there's a party to this.
Look, this, you want to know what it's really about? This is what it's really about. Disney wants to move most of its headquarters to Orlando, and they want to move engineers and executives from California to Orlando.
I would think Disney would love California, because in California they can do it. See, that doesn't make any sense to me, because California they can do anything they want there. So why wouldn't they want to move everything in California?
It's a business move. The tax.
I know, but DeSantis is a governor of California. He's basically saying, "Look, I'm in control now, not you people, because you're doing this." And look, I wouldn't want him talking about sexuality at all. It's like, don't talk to my kid about it, okay? I would really be that way.
This was thought of about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Bob Iger was one that implemented it. They were going to do it, and when the alleged "Don't Say Gay" bill, but it's really actually the parental rights bill, came up and passed, and we had.
It was a good campaign to say that "Don't Say Gay" bill, because it's going to make everybody mad or whatever. But I mean, and looking at it, it does seem like for me, and again, I don't have kids. Vanessa, you've got a little guy. Michael, you've got a little guy. Jennifer, you've got not so little, but still kids. Now, I mean, would you want teachers talking about sexuality early on? I mean, I really think that's kind of not a good idea, but that's just me.
No. And that, I'll let you guys answer, but.
Yeah, because they have little ones. I mean,
Yeah,
do you think?
not at all. I
And
mean,
then we'll lighten it up a little bit.
yeah.
But you know, to have like, I mean, I don't know. I just think that I just don't want people I don't know that well talking about sexuality with little kids. I don't know.
I think it should be
junior high, maybe.
I think it should be exactly. I think it should be added in at 6th grade. That's when I got all the sex talk. They're like, girls in this room, guys
And
in that
everybody
room.
everybody would giggle because everybody
And,
knew
you
what
know,
the speech was. You know, about the girls go on this side of the gym, the boys go on the other, and they have their little
Right.
video. But they're 6th graders or 7th graders, not like 6th.
But I mean, I think that's when the you know, the education and, you know, equality and all that good stuff should be 3rd grade. I'm still learning to write a sentence in 3rd grade. I don't know about you guys.
I think in Indiana,
I'm trying to do like, I'm just now learning about multiplication. I'm like, wait a minute, 3 times 2 is what?
I think in Indiana, it's 4th grade where they split them and they do it in the 2nd semester of 4th grade. And so the kids are like 10, 11 and TMI here. I started my periods when I was 11.
Nice.
So want to get them early enough. Want to get them early enough that the girls know what's going on with their body.
That's a little scary. I'll be back.
Especially if the parents don't tell them. So you need to have that kind of little education. I think it's like a half-day seminar or a couple hours seminar in 4th grade here in Indiana. But it's so that they start to understand what's going on with their body because they're getting ready to go through puberty and emotions and all that stuff. And my kids are both right there. So it's no fun for parents.
See, that was something where I'm ignorant about too, because it was around that time. I'm like, why do the girls get to go to the bathroom anytime they want? Somebody? Anybody?
Well, since we're on the topic, which is horrible. I'm like, what is wrong with me? I was in 8th freaking grade going to be a freshman. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I mean, you know, whatever. So, but you're right.
I got a story real quick. You're going to laugh about these because I went to Catholic private school and it was run by...
here we go. Ooh, the Catholic stuff. Woo!
Yeah.
Private school.
Private school. Catholic. Did the nuns punish you? Did they slap your hand or something?
And that was actually pretty cool until that talk. I think I was like maybe 15 or 14. Like I was so old. And it wasn't even like whenever they talked about it, but they needed to talk to us about it. So they kind of split us out and then they show us this cartoon video. And I still remember it was so traumatizing. I will tell you stories for hours. But anyway, it was about 2 cats that were animated that were part of a blanket. And the 2 cats just kind of like their necks. And I mean, it had nothing to do with.
No, wait a minute. What?
That was a way of talking about.
No. Wait. Let's slow down. 2 cats?
Yeah.
2 cats? Kitty cats?
It was it was an animation of 2 cats that were part of a blanket. And I guess there was, there had been a woman and a man, and they were like it was all animated. Like I said. They were going on a bed, and then they covered themselves up with a blanket that had 2 cats on it. And the 2 cats' necks entwined with each other. And it was just so, like, no reality. And then that was it. I mean, there was nothing. And then babies were born. It was like, nobody ever told me. I'm not kidding. Like,
nice.
And I had no idea. But it was so, just so out of, But, yeah.
So you had like the kitty cat cartoon. That's how you found out.
No, not even. It was later. What? I was like, what? People do that stuff? That's
you didn't know at 14 years old?
I was 20. Oh no, I was like 5.
You didn't know at 20?
Yes, I'm serious. I was like, wait, what?
I just found out when my son was born.
I was very
By the way, Michael.
Well, to be fair, because I remember as a kid, all the little gossip on the playgrounds and on the buses and stuff, I sat my kids both down. I bought them books and set them both down when they were 8 and gave them the basics. And I said, I'm available anytime you want to talk about this, but here are some books.
But they're never going to want to talk about it with you.
I know. That's why I gave them books too. They
good idea.
Questions.
Did you give them Playboy and Playgirl?
No, they're about, growing up, and it's about hygiene as well as, it's about maintaining your body as you're going through puberty and stuff. So I got them a couple of books that I thought looked good, and and then gave them the
Do
basics.
they have
because
those
I
books
didn't
at the
know how to-
bookstore? Like what section? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I bought them on
I'm glad I didn't have
Amazon.
any kids.
I looked through books and then I found mine on Amazon.
Oh. See, isn't it weird how you find out about sexuality and how it's like popped up with Disney? Whenever it's Disney and it's Mickey Mouse and all this stuff, and this is like the happiest place in the world, but what's popping up in our mind is like the Pussycat story with Vanessa, and she's 20 and she's learning about sexuality with a cartoon.
I just remember the animal uterus.
And
Nobody ever told me. It was like so weird. I mean, but nobody come from. How do you say that? And it was like, wait, what? It's not two cats in the next? I mean, I don't know. It was like I was so oblivious, but I was very sheltered too. So
let's do Pussycat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's do Pussycat. So were you in Peru at the time, Vanessa? Vanessa's like our exotic beauty from Peru.
Yeah, I was in Peru.
So Peru, they don't talk about it. It just happens one day. No talking about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, but it's, at the time, well, I mean, everybody was just so like, I mean, you just don't talk about it, I guess. And I'm like, why not? And so anyway,
let's go to Mimi, because I bet they talked about it at their house. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking Mimi knew it for.
No,
I feel like you were the woman in charge. You knew as a toddler.
Okay.
Oh, I know it all.
My father used to be a member of the Playboy Club, and he had the key. And so I knew about the key, and I knew about the Playboy Club, and I knew about the huge stack of magazines he got from Playboy.
I knew you were going to say that. And
he had a stack this big, like huge.
So did Michael.
And I used to go in the bathroom and I used to read through them all. They were all there, all open. Now, I don't remember them being as provocative as they are now. I think when I was younger, they were
Are you still reading them?
No. But every once in a while, you run into something on TV as you're flashing it through. There's actually this Robin Bird here in New York. They have some crazy thing, and I hit through the channels by accident sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God. So I think they show a lot more now, and it's not. I actually do not look at it. And I do not subscribe. But every once in a while, I guess I'm in a newsstand and I've looked through the paper. But I think it's a little bit more risque than they were back then. But when we moved, when I was about 11, those subscriptions stopped. My mother put an end to it. So,
well, but you learned it all, so it didn't matter. You already knew everything, and I knew you early on.
But public school, we didn't start talking about it or even have a class until it was 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah, I mean that's what that's what it was with us.
Exactly. Yep. Because we had a different building for grade school, and I knew it wasn't there. So it was after we moved to the next building over, across the street.
Junior high.
Yep. Junior high, everything changed. And, they gave us the box of the tampons for us to understand what was the box.
I know. I remember. I got that same box. I'm telling you, I remember all that.
Yep. We got the box. But other than that, I mean, it was very normal, except for my father with the Playboy Club. And then it wasn't like it was normal for the men, the business people, top executives to go to the Playboy Club. That's what they did. They were all
they're
over
adults
the place.
And they're men. Why not? I mean, who cares? I think when you reach, I think that's kind of what we're talking about is at a certain age, do whatever the hell you want. But when you're a little kid, I just kind of think, just give them a minute. Give them a minute before there's any sort of influence. I just think when they're little, they don't know. They don't know what to do.
I know. The Playboy Club. I was never went to it, but I think it's very different than Hooters, for example. And the way they portray the women. I think it was different era and a different way they did it. I think nowadays, they go a little overboard with certain things, but that's.
I think it's fine to be very sexual if you want to be gay, straight, super sexual, bi, whatever. I mean, because when you reach a certain age, you can do whatever you want. That's America. Right. It's not like in China or not like in Russia or whatever, where if you're homosexual, they're going to shoot you down and kill you or something. I mean, that's bullshit. I mean, In America, do whatever you want. But it's 4 years old. I mean, give it a break. You know, it's just like, or 6 or whatever it is. Being someone like Mimi who started in junior high now, and Vanessa, again, she was 20 years old before she knew, because she, at 20 years old, she got the kitty cat video and then learned about the birds and the bees.
15, but yes.
But she did figure it out because she has a couple kids, so she's good. Vanessa's good. And look, Michael, you were just like me and Mimi. You know, what?
I caught up. I said I caught up.
When she turned 21, she drank liquor and she knew all about the birds and the bees. She caught up. And look, Michael, you're in Kentucky, so I know you have those playboys in the crib, and you know,
No,
I mean,
I got a better story, kind of make everyone feel better. My dad's farm buddy, we were picking him up in his trailer park one time, just to be very nice. He's a very rough, tough individual. He could tuck his beard into his pants belt.
We were almost there.
I mean, just crazy beard, carried a gun everywhere, cowboy hat. And I remember being like a teenager, and outside his trailer, he has Hustler magazine sitting outside his trailer. So he like tells me to look at it, and I'm like, I've flipped channels through Skinamax before. It's like, this won't shock me. I opened it up and looked. I was so
there's
shocked.
a difference between
Risque
Hugh Hefner
does not
and Larry
describe.
Flint.
Risque does not describe these poses. Vulgar.
Larry Flint is not Playboy. Larry Flint is a different level altogether.
I was still blown away. It's all like it's I didn't know what to expect, you know. It's like when you go see Robert Mapplethorpe and you don't know what you're gonna get. It's like crazy.
Yeah, I've got my story. Of course, I was 14, but I already look. By the time you're 14, if you don't know what's going on,
Vanessa didn't know 20.
We will have the conversation.
But she knew.
There was an interview in Playgirl with an actor that I love, and I think Dee Dee can extrapolate who that might be. 1982, 83, whatever. And it was up there, and I was like, I want that magazine. I want to read it. I had no idea what's inside of it. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I didn't know what that was. I was with a friend who's basically a juvenile delinquent. Next morning, she shows up with a brown paper bag. And she goes, I got this for you. I'm like, well, what is it? It's a Playgirl. It is the wrong one. But I'm like, I put it in my locker. I'm like, are you crazy? So we take it home, and I start looking through it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to babysit my nephew that night. So I called a bunch of my friends over and put Christopher upstairs. He was like 2 or 3, like 4 years old. He was sound asleep, and we started looking through it and getting into my sister's booze and laughing and giggling.
I'm sorry, Stephanie, how old were you? I love this. I love this.
I was 14.
Like we all started early except Vanessa, who's hiding now.
I was 14. So I left it in my backpack. And Sunday morning while I was gone.
Okay, the magazine and the liquor?
No, the magazine.
The magazine was in the bag.
To go trap shooting. I come back home. The magazine is laying in the middle of the floor, and my mom, who was crazy, was having a heart attack. And I'm like, oh my God.
Did you get beaten? Did she beat you?
I forgot it was in there.
Mom, don't get the wrong idea. I mean, don't get the wrong idea.
No. She went in there to get dirty clothes because she was going to wash clothes. Okay, well, she found more than she bargained for. So the next day, I come crawling downstairs to go to school, get everything together. Dad's going to take me. Guess who tells me the birds and the bees? My dad. This is me in the car. I'm sleeping down lower and lower and lower in the car.
But you already read the Playgirl. You already knew all about it. I mean, did you tell him that, or just be quiet?
When your dad, if you knew my dad, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I was like, I was like, I'm having an out of body experience here. So I slink into school.
Horrible. That would be horrible.
And I literally grabbed her by the shirt and going, I got in trouble with a damn long magazine. just screaming at her. Everyone's looking at me. It was so embarrassing. But that's really, I stopped going to Catholic school in 7th grade. And so I didn't get what everybody else did, but I kind of already knew. Your older sisters give you books to look at them, go, I know this and throw them in the trash, which is what I did. There's also the fact that I was disrespecting my older sisters because they're pains in the ass. But still, when I think about it, the time you start realizing what's going on is about when you're 10 or 11 years old. But before that, you're supposed to be a little kid. You're supposed to have that innocence. You're supposed to be able to get up on Saturday mornings and watch Super Friends and, run around and pretend and have your toys and all the rest of the stuff. And I gotta tell you, some of the teachers that have posted complaining videos about now they can't tell their 5-year-old kindergartners about are you there? Still there?
Yeah.
We're there.
All right. All right. But they're not allowed to tell their kindergartners about what they did with their husbands or wives. I'm certainly going, I don't remember my 3rd grade teacher telling us what she did with her husband.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good look. Do we all agree that that's a little young for the teacher shouldn't get into that?
There's
a line for them to do. Look, if you want to have, look, it's up to the parents to give you a horrifying situation. Stephanie was horrified by her father after the mother found the playgirl. Okay, we all have the story. Now, my parents did nothing. I think they already assumed that I knew everything, and I did, because similar to Mike and Mimi, I started babysitting in 5th grade, and they had stacks of those magazines. I looked through everything. I read every word. I loved it. I thought it was so fascinating. It didn't bother me one bit, so I knew I was good. And I think my parents just knew that. So it was all good, no problem. But I was just
they're
like
hustlers too?
No, not hustlers.
Just playboys?
But I did look at hustlers later, and I'm like, that is quite spicy. That's
well, involved. I thought of a more tasteful way to describe it. The girls' faces in Playboy, they're like this.
They are.
Hustler, they're like this. You're like, wow.
Hey, Michael, how about Playgirl? What are the faces like there? No, they're like that. Hey, there's no face.
When I think about
you're talking big wiener. Oh no, when I was looking at Playgirl, it's like those are big wieners. Is that real? I guess it is. Some people like really endowed. Congratulations, but I mean.
That just
I feel like Vanessa is going to have a heart attack. Vanessa, do you even know what these magazines mean? I'm just wondering. I mean, this Peruvian Angel. I mean, when we're talking about these magazines, are you appalled?
No, it's fine. It's part of.
Are you offended?
Oh, I laugh about it because I was my parents did a really good job sheltering me, which was, I understand why, and I really appreciate it, but it was I had no idea. I probably, like I said earlier in the comments, I was, I went to culinary school. I did stuff, but I had never talked about it because nobody ever talked about it. And I wasn't really, I was I could care less about it.
In Peru, you just don't talk about it. And, there's something to be said for that. I mean, that's polite and that's decent. There's, there's something about having, not, talking about, hey, I see the latest Playboy. Did you see? You missed December. Woo! But there's something about not having knowledge of that. But, but the rest of us did. Actually, I didn't get confirmation from Jennifer. Now, Jennifer, you really didn't tell us. You just said that it was a little later, but you didn't tell us your birds and bees discussion, or was it at school? Was it your parents?
Or she said 4th grade.
Are we magazine junkies like me, Mimi, and Michael? Oh, actually, I'm going to throw Stephanie in there too. She was Miss Playgirl.
Well, I will say that I had a babysitter who was the mother of one of my friends, and her husband had Playboy.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so everybody,
I was in early, kindergarten, 1st grade.
Kindergarten. She's looking at Playboy in kindergarten.
What is this? So that was my very first thing. But as far as understanding how my body interacted and babies and stuff, that was I think 4th or 6th grade. I can't remember when. for me, I feel like it was maybe 6th grade for me, but for my kids, it's now 4th grade.
So we all had the nudie magazines in our life, except Vanessa, who at 21 had the cat video, the cat cartoon, the pussycat cartoon. But the rest
you keep bringing the ages, just up and up the ages. Now it's 21.
I thought you said, oh, you were 21. Oh, better yet.
No, I was 15. I was 15 when that happened. But I didn't know anything until I was 20. I'm just telling you.
Okay,
Yeah,
now,
but did they have on TV in Peru like they do here with the Spanish-speaking stations with the women in the little bikinis dancing behind the guy, the heavy-set guy, and they're all having a good time and all of that?
No. We watch all kinds of stuff like there's Europeans and we do a lot of European channels. I grew up in Lima, so I wasn't in American channels and all that. I never watched a lot of growing up. I was a sports person and I traveled, so I never sat down very well, so I never really sat down and watched. So I never had curiosity to even, I don't know. It was just different. It's just a different time, I guess.
Because those TV stations are hysterical, and they're all having a great, good old time.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I was like, okay, maybe if you kiss somebody, that's what happens. I don't know. That's why you have babies.
Oh, wait a minute. You thought if you kiss someone, you would get pregnant?
Well, no, I'm just joking. I'm just making that up now. But it's I just didn't know. I never really asked. I never, curious because I thought, well, having children or getting married as growing up or even as a teenager was never my thing, until, later. But it was I thought I would never have kids. I thought just travel and be a traveling nomad and just, just doing, my thing. I don't know, but it's all changed. So, yeah, it's just different.
And then you got Max, the cutest little kid in the world. Well, and Sebastian's beautiful too. I don't know. Do you have any more hidden kids I don't know about? Those are the only 2 I know about. And they're beautiful.
Yeah, those are 2 are mine. And then Seth is my stepson. So he's 23.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the stepkids are good too. They can be, or they can be evil. But yours is not.
Yes. Yeah. No,
I know evil stepkids, believe me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. He's great. He's awesome. So, yeah.
Her kids are cute, super duper cute. So yeah, so I know, but Vanessa, what are you gonna do with them? I mean, he's like a little guy. I mean, are you worried that at Hanover or Southwestern, was he in the Southwestern school system?
He's in Madison. He goes to Madison. He goes to
Madison.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Madison. So I mean, when are they going to start talking about the birds and the bees? Do you know that do they tell you ahead of time, or do you know what's going on there?
I would say for anything like that comes from the school, I think there's just there has to be communication. You can't, it's just like anything. You have to, the school has to announce it and kind of give the parents a heads up, But I think when they're little, I mean, that's so vulnerable. They don't know a whole lot, and you want them to you don't want to take that innocence and just take away that. I think you need to enjoy and let them be kids and, accept everybody and love everybody. And then later on, when they're old enough to be able to understand, I think then you need to, be able to have a conversation. Not at 15 or 20, but,
like you.
When they can actually understand and, without, having, have any persecution or body shaming or, or anything like that. But I think they need to be a little bit older to be able to understand, and
I'm not for being a sexual deviant. If you want to be a crazy man or a crazy woman and do this and that and animals, I don't care what you do. But don't talk about it at 4, 5, and 6, 7 years old. It's too young. Let them get to the age to figure out what they want to do.
Let me preface it with this: if none of us can walk over to a kid at a store, outside a playground, or whatever, and talk about these things without getting arrested, a teacher shouldn't be able to.
Well, I agree.
Give them
a minute. Give the kids a minute. Let them. Just not for teachers. Look, it's for parents, and if parents don't do it, that's on them. I mean, and that's fine. I mean, but don't. I agree. Let kids be kids for a while. I mean, and later let them be funky or crazy or whatever. I don't care. But
they can be kids, but they got to understand how everything works so that they are educated. And there's some parents that do not, for whatever reason, tell their kids anything, and they have minimal contact with their kids other than to pay for their stuff. And I mean, when I was growing up as a latchkey kid, not saying my parents were bad parents at all, but there have got to be still latchkey kid situations and parents that are barely parents out there. And I think as a society, somebody's got to tell them this stuff. And if they're not going to church and their parents aren't telling them, where are they going to learn some of this stuff?
Not at 5 and 6 and 7 years old. I mean, just
no, not that young. Like I said, I'm okay with the 4th grade.
Yeah,
and 6th grade.
And that bill basically was about teaching any sexuality from K to 3rd grade, and that's it. It you know, heterosexuality, homosexuality, whatever, off limits, which is fine. The people at Disney started freaking out because Bob Chapek said no comment. Now, just tell you something. You know who's watching that very carefully and laughing? Universal, who has said nothing. Nothing. Universal is Disney's biggest competitor right now with the theme parks.
So they're loving it, right?
Oh,
Universal's loving life right now.
Oh yeah, they are. And I just go,
because they really don't go there. They don't go there with any of that. In Disney, for whatever reason, oddly, just it's all about the sexuality stuff. And I'm like, well, why would you do that? I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking it'd be bad for business.
Real quick, before I'm gonna head out.
Oh, go ahead, Vanessa. Go ahead. Do you have to go?
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah, because I actually have a catering, so I'm gonna have to kind of cut it off. But I just want to say, like, you can talk. I mean, whatever time it is, but it has to also come in from a person that is able to answer those questions, that is actually prepared, and they just, you know, that, you know, if it's gonna be an educator, it has to be somebody that can actually educate, and not somebody that just want to tell them what they just think about it, you know, because it has to be somebody that actually is able to understand and see the process, because it's the first time that they're talking about it. So people are going to have questions. So it has to be with somebody that actually knows the content and is able to explain to it without just, just giving it their train of thought. It has to be somebody that, is actually an expert on that topic,
and actually, guys, Vanessa, it's interesting, you say that, and I'm going to play devil's advocate, even though I just think parents should handle this, but think about these little kids in really bad areas of the world, and they are not being treated right. They have no guidance at all. They don't even get fed right, whatever. I mean, so with their influence is terrible at home. So in a way, maybe here and there, just to play devil's advocate, I'm not advocating this, but the devil is saying that, maybe here and there, I mean, the teachers would be better to discuss than their home life. Here and there, maybe that's better. I don't know. What do you all think? Is there ever a time where that would be okay?
I think that at 4th grade and over, a gradual walk into it, not ta-da, there you go with all the information. I think that if you do it in the slow sort of, they're 11 years old, they're 10 years old, then we go, this is what we do this year, we do next year, la-di-da, and not advocating anything, just teaching. What you find with some of the people that I've seen do videos crying about it is they're not teachers, they're advocates. They're activists.
Right, sure, no doubt.
That's not good. It's not good. The people advocating this at Disney, I'm going to send you the video I did, Dee Dee, with their videos. They're not creatives, they're activists. And, they get upset when people use a certain word, but it's like, look, I can't use that. Bye, Vanessa. I can't say this stuff to a kid who is.
All right, everybody, let's say bye to Vanessa. She's got to go.
Bye, Vanessa.
Bye, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Let's go to Disney World someday, okay?
Yes.
Vanessa, do you like? Oh, she left. Oh, I was going to ask her if she liked Disney World, but okay, because we're going to lighten it up after all this and talk about Disney World and Disneyland a little bit. Go ahead, Stephanie.
But if none of us can do that, I don't think a teacher between kindergarten and 3rd grade can.
Yeah, I know.
I don't really think
let's have bad situations. So part of me thinks maybe, but in the end, they're just a little bit too little.
And I don't think activism of this sort belongs in kids' entertainment. Okay.
I know, when they're little, I mean, in a way, I think it's good for when they're little. Say, love is love, love is great, love is great. You know, love, 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 love. Just like shower them with love, no matter what. Any kind of love is good. You know, I don't know. Part of me really thinks that's okay, and then they'll sort it out later. But I don't know, because some of these kids really have.
I'm trying to look at it the way. I'm trying to look at it the way that if I was a parent, all right.
I know, but I know, but Stephanie, I mean, look, I'm a conservative, but I'm going to go here. Some of these kids have horrific home lives, and they have no love. They don't have crap. They, you know, they get beaten, they get abused, whatever. I'm just saying, I don't think it's terrible that in school, if they say all love is good, love, 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 love here, love there, any kind of love is good. I'm not against that. I think that's fine. You know, if you keep it kind of broad. You know what I mean? Because I think, you know, you don't want to confuse, but you don't want to confuse them or let them figure out what they want to do.
Yeah, use teachable moments. Like, for example, my son, he ran off. We were at a park and he ran off somewhere where I couldn't see him, and I told him, I said, you know, come back, and I said, hey, do you know why you need to tell me where you go all the time?
Because those weird guys in the rest stops and in the park.
Well, I kept it broad.
It's terrible for me to say that.
I said you need to stay near me because some people will try to kidnap you, and they're smart. They'll pretend that they're my friend. They'll say, "Hey, I'm your dad's friend. Get in my vehicle. Let's go." And they'll offer you ice cream. They'll offer you. I kept it broad. Then last week we're watching the movie The Goonies, and it's the beginning of the movie where the kids ride off, and he goes, how old are those kids? Are they going somewhere without telling their parents?
Are they
going somewhere? Oh man! It's like got his little Brooklyn accent. I had Goodfellas on while he was playing trains, not watching. But
when
then he starts
kids, my mom and dad,
I gotta go get my shovel.
My mom and dad just said, just go. And I mean, they didn't know where I was. They didn't care. And I just came back. They said, just be back by dinner time. I mean, and I could have been like in the next town, whatever. But back then, you know, you ride your bike around, you know, there's no issues. There's no issues with that. But now there is.
I think like 13, if you're in a city, it's like, hey, you know, stay within this block and, you know the families in the neighborhood and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that's okay because then you should have trust at that point.
Mimi, you're a big city girl. Mimi, you're a big city girl. So when you grew up in the city, you know, and you had his bad dark days.
I didn't grow up in the city, okay? But no, I didn't. I grew up in the suburbs, but I do have friends who have children who grew up in the city, and I've babysat for them, so I'm a little aware of the kids in the city.
How does that work with the kids in the city?
They grow up so much faster because they see a lot more, they're exposed to a lot more. If you're out in the, you know, suburbs and you're just in your little green grass area and the kids are around, that's what you're exposed to and that's what you see. But I mean, if you're a young kid and you hear, first of all, they ride the subway, so they see a lot more. They have access.
Oh yeah.
So that alone, they're exposed, and they grow up so much quicker.
Exposed. Like literally, hey, here's my wiener, and I'm peeing in the subway. That's what they do.
Yep. But I mean, with anything, I mean, kids, what they're exposed to, if you have more money, you know, the kids I know who go to public school versus private school. Okay, in public school, maybe they get more pot and they're more familiar with that. But then you go to private school, you get more Coke. And you get more, you know, heavier things that are a little more money and whatever. I've noticed that difference too, because I went from public school to private school. So
you went from pot to Coke. So do you like pot or Coke?
Neither. I'm really not. But I have to say, we had an issue in my private school.
You're here and drinks with Dee Dee. We're about liquor. I'm just curious.
I know.
I know you like your wine, Mimi.
Yeah, we had an issue.
I'm wine girl.
I know. We had an issue in my private school where one of the kids was kicked out for cocaine, and they caught them with it and whatever, and it was a big to-do. So I it's it's what you're exposed to, how much money you have available to you to get different things, and what so all those things come into play. And there's definitely a difference with kids, what they're exposed to, and then what they have available to them.
Yeah, this show I watch on Netflix called All American, this kid from Compton transfers schools to go to Beverly Hills. And Compton, you have the gangs and stuff, but in Beverly Hills, you got the head games, the hard drugs. They're already in rehab for alcohol. It's like a different pot of problems.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a definite. There's a definite change.
But it's also similar, isn't it? I think you encapsulated it really well, Mimi, about how it's different, but it's still kind of the same. I mean, they have their vices, they have their challenges. Are you going to do this? Are you not going to do this? But as a kid, you just have all these choices. Going back to, should they be talking about sexuality? When you're 6 years old. It's a good question. I think everybody's been very smart about their comments here or whatever, but I think we have got to lighten it up or I'm going to kill myself, because it's like we've got 5 minutes and this is a party podcast. So let's talk about Disney and let's talk about the theme parks. Let's talk about, do you all like, look, as you know, I always start. So I love Space Mountain, and I like the fast rides, and I like, all the food and the festivities and that sort of thing. And I think it's fun. I mean, when I went to Disney World, I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I went to Disneyland and I thought it sucked. I'm like, this sucks wiener. I mean, it's bullshit. And not donkey wiener, not big playgirl wiener, Jennifer. Big playgirl wiener. Oh, I'm sorry, Jennifer. That was Stephanie. She's the playgirl girl.
Well, Disney World is a lot.
The big wiener. I just thought, I think, I don't know. I mean, you're out there, Michael, but I think Disneyland sucks next to Disney World. What do you guys think?
Well,
do you like Disney? Do you like the theme parks?
Disney World, 250,000 acres, I think, is what it sits on.
It's awesome.
Yeah, they can fit the Disneyland. They can fit in the parking lot of Disney World.
Yeah,
Magic
exactly.
Kingdom.
I think Disneyland
it's just
like
a fraction.
County Fair. I think it's crap next to Disney World.
I liked Disneyland for the history of it, because it was the same size when it started. It was the same. But we actually had our wedding reception at a place in Oakland called Children's Fairyland, and this place is amazing. And actually, Walt Disney ripped off Children's Fairyland to make Disneyland. So it's
Walt Disney ripped someone off. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Children's Fairyland, you're like, oh wow, he walked around this park with a pad and paper and built Disneyland.
I'm sorry we didn't switch to the theme parks earlier, but this is a big issue we're dealing with right now. So it's all good and everybody's smart and it's all good. So anyway, raise your hand if you've been to Disneyland in California. Raise your hand. All of you. Okay. So who has been to Disney World in Florida? Okay,
I didn't go in the park. I just did downtown Disney, and that place was huge.
Okay.
It was overwhelming for me.
It's crazy. Yeah, but it's real. I'm going next month. It's amazing. So, I mean, I love DeSantis, but I'm still going to Disney World. I'm still partying down in Disney World, man. I'm going. I'm good.
But first off, boycotts don't work. It's stupid.
I'm going.
My attitude is when they do something good, give them a carrot. When they do something bad, hit them with a baseball bat. That's it. What else are you gonna do?
That doesn't work with kids.
It's not gonna go away.
Yeah.
You don't like carrots, and it'd be child abuse if you hit them with a bat.
It's. I mean, people are like, oh, we're doing this or we're doing that. It's like, what? It's not gonna hurt anybody.
Look, Stephanie, look, I know you don't like what's going on with Disney, whatever. I mean, you're probably, more enthusiastic about it than the rest of us. But are you going to stop going to Disney World because of it? I mean, if you got the pass to go on the Eurorails and to go to the hotels or whatever, would you go or would you boycott it? I'm not boycotting it. I'm going to Epcot. Forget boycott. I'm going to Epcot. What about you?
I would if somebody else paid for it.
This is
Um,
somebody else
you
pay
know,
for it, right? You're such a
I
Democrat.
still, hey, you know what? I pay for Disney Plus. I'm not getting rid of Disney Plus. I don't watch anything I don't want to watch.
Disney's
So
not going away. Look, Disney's huge. It's not going away, folks. But I do appreciate DeSantis challenging them, and I think you should.
I do.
I'm going to say
I do.
something controversial here. I would rather go to
really?
SeaWorld than Disney World. SeaWorld is awesome.
Not now. Don't
Dude,
they
those,
mistreat
the whales and dolphins doing those tricks and stuff. I mean, factor out the, you know, the bad stuff with the animal rights and this and that, but the dolphins,
when you wish upon a star.
whales jumping up.
Jennifer, you put your ears on. I love it. You put your ears on, girl.
I have ears. I do.
Bunny ears?
I had to go controversial.
You know what I love is that we were almost all completely corrupt, other than Vanessa, who left, was like, didn't know sex until 20. She's different. Okay. She's from Peru. But the rest of us were all like, you know, we're all looking at Playboy and Playgirl, you know, in grade school. Isn't that funny? Mimi, Michael, Stephanie, maybe not you, Jennifer, but sort of. But I looked through everything. When I babysat for those people, I looked through all that. And I'm like, I'm good. I understand everything now. Don't you think it's funny how we all got a hold of those nudie magazines early on in our life?
Hey, mine was stolen. Mine was stolen. It was.
I think
stolen.
it's funny. I think it's great.
It was the wrong one.
You're like the person that they give the drugs to, so it could be at a safe place. Except they got busted and they pinned it on you.
Okay, who's good at taking pictures? Can you who can take a screenshot? Mimi, are you the responsible one? So we all
I can do that. Hold on. Well, you can do it. Let's see.
Well, we can both do it and have a fail safe.
That's a good idea. I got to get it on the gallery, though.
Let's do it, babies. Let's do it. We're set the degenerates. We're freaking degenerates. Playgirl, Playboy magazines at like 11. All of us. Every one of us. Other than Vanessa, she left.
I mean, my priest would kill me anyway.
There we go. I got a photo.
I love it. All right, guys. Well, we probably have 1 minute left because, they're really strict. Because we used to go like 5 hours, and now we've got 1. So I have to say, I love Space Mountain. That was my favorite thing. That is my favorite thing. I'm going to go with Monica, my friend, the Wives Club or whatever.
I love Space Mountain, too. Absolutely.
Anyway, because it's fast and it's fun. What do you like, Michael?
I like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. That was cool.
Yes.
Because you like Johnny Depp. And he doesn't like poopy in bed. Johnny Depp does not like poopy in bed with him.
I don't either.
I just, no. Guys, me too.
Johnny, he has said the weirdest things, but I'm still Team Johnny. What about you? I'm still,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dee Dee, you and I have to talk about that.
Okay,
because he made me cry a couple times with what he was talking about.
You're so sweet. You're so soft-hearted, Stephanie.
I know I am. I can't help it.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. All right, how much time we got left? 20 seconds to give the whatever Disney or DeSantis. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Forever let us hold our wiener high. Come along and sing your song.
MICKEYMOUSE.
Real soon. Come along and sling your schlong and join the family. MIC. See you real soon. KEY. Why? Because we lick you. MOUSE. See you real soon.
All right, good night, guys.
See ya. Bye. Love you.
Skull.
Mickey Mouse, forever let us hold our yin high. Come along and sling your schlong and join your family. MICKEY.
MOUSE.